Hi everyone, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga, and this is Soft Flow Yoga, a 60-minute gentle yoga practice. So glad that you can join me here. So I've got a number of props here, so let me tell you what we're going to be doing and how we're going to be using these props. So we're going to be doing what I'm calling balancing leg extensions. So there is some balance work, but there's also some leg extension work. And so that's going to be working our hamstrings, also our hips too. And so we'll certainly need props for that. Of course, I'm sitting on my nice soft blanket, so you'll probably want a blanket that you can sit on or kneel on. It could be a blanket or a towel that you fold up. I also have my yoga strap, so you might want to have something like this, a yoga strap. It could be a belt, a jump rope, something long. That's also going to help us with our leg extensions. It really helps. So that's our strap. I'm going to set that to the side. And then I've got some yoga blocks. Just something stackable. It could be a couple of hardbound books, like a couple of dictionaries that we'll be using for one of our poses. And it's typically our supported bridge pose, which is a back bend. And I've got my trusty bolster here. Sometimes I use this, sometimes I don't, but it's nice to have something soft that you can use for your Shavasana practice. And of course, I've got my chair, which is right here. Now that's going to also help us with the balancing part of our balancing leg extension work. So I'm going to set that off screen or off camera, but I'll be bringing that back in. You can also you can use the back of a chair, table, use a wall, something that's going to give you a little bit more support. So that's all our props. So let's go ahead and start in seated. So find something soft to sit on. That could also be your blanket that you folded or your soft pillow. Just want to be able to sit up nice and tall. Nice well extended spine. Check in with your shoulders. Make sure your shoulders feel relaxed and your arms are relaxed. And for the moment, your hands can just rest in your lap. As we get settled into our space and prepare for our practice, I invite you to just get reconnected to your breath. You might begin with just some slow, steady breaths. Just get reacquainted with your own breathing. And perhaps breathe in a way where you can feel your breath and listen to the sound of your breath. It just brings you inside, fully aware of yourself in this moment, letting go of the things that are going on outside of you, all those distractions, all those other responsibilities, and just tune into what's going on inside. And that breath and sitting in stillness can help us with that. So again, just slow, steady breaths here. We'll deepen this connection just by bringing more attention and awareness to the breath. All you need to do is just breathe a little slower. So as you inhale, nice long breath in, feel as if the breath is rising upward to fill your lungs. Very expansive here in the upper region of your torso, filling up your lungs. Followed by a slow and controlled exhale. And with that exhale, as you're able, you're drawing your navel in towards your spine. It's a way of connecting to your center. That's going to help us with some balance. Also helps us with movement and feeling well supported in our own bodies as we move. Again, a breath in, feel a lifting and lengthening of your spine, just sitting up a little taller as you're able, filling up your lungs and heart space. Your exhale, drawing navel in. It's a light contraction of your abdominal muscles, so you feel that connection. Now, all of this can be done with eyes opened. You might just gaze forward or downward at the floor, or you can do this with your eyes closed. Go ahead and take 3 more breaths, still sitting here in stillness, concentrating on the breathing. After those 3 breaths, we'll add movement. Nice. When you're ready, Inhale and extend your arms out across the room. So some good energy in the extension of the arms. Then reach all the way up to complete the inhale. Then as you exhale, draw your belly button in towards your spine and extend your arms out with some effort and let them float back down by your side. Let's do that again. Inhale, extend the arms out, reaching across the room and eventually up towards the ceiling, finishing the in-breath, and then the exhale. Draw belly in, reach outward, strong straight arms as they float back down by your side. Now go ahead and continue this at your own pace. You don't have to follow me necessarily. Just follow your own pace of breath and movement. And just do this a few more times. Having full awareness of the breath as it flows through your body, and certainly awareness of how this feels in your body. Since your arms are in motion, notice how this feels in your shoulders, your arms, even your hands and fingers, especially as you reach up and out. As your arms go up into the air, notice the lengthening through the sides of your body. Even imagine or feel like your torso is being lifted up, creating a little bit more space in your hips. And that's something that's going to come into play when we get into our moving practice. When your arms go up, feel your torso rising upward as well. Finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more breaths. Take your time. And when you're complete, just bring your arms back down by your side. Your hands can rest in your lap. Come back to stillness, allowing your body to rest for a moment. Notice that shift, that change from being active in the moving part now to this stillness. While still seated, go ahead and bring your hands behind you. Just prop yourself up onto your fingertips. With your arms behind you, that will naturally bring the shoulders back, but also activate that, or just really sense the shoulders being drawn back. You might even squeeze your shoulder blades together to engage your upper back muscles. It's just creating a bit more space through the chest, across the chest, from shoulder to shoulder. Then just tip your chin up just a little bit. What we're creating also is a minor back bend. Now as you inhale, press into the ground with your fingers. Feel the energy shoot up through the arms, your shoulders, squeezing shoulder blades together. Breathing in to fill up your lungs. Then exhale, draw belly in, engaging the abdominal muscles. Again, an inhale, create energy in the body, pressing into the ground. Heart opening, lungs expanding. Exhale, belly pulls in. Shoulders draw back. Notice all of this energy shooting through you, bringing life and energy to your whole system. Nice opening of the heart here. Take 2 more breaths. After the second breath, just lower your chin. And you can walk your hands towards yourself until you're sitting up nice and tall. And again, just let your arms just relax in your lap. You can even shake out the shoulders if you need to. And just come back to stillness. Again, that change, that shift from being in motion, very active body, to a more relaxed body. So we just practiced a back bend. Let's do a forward fold. Typically, we like to come to Cobbler's pose. So that's the soles of the feet touching here like this. And if you'd like, you can use your books or blocks for a little resting spot for your legs, just like this. It just keeps the legs nicely relaxed. Then you can kind of scoop up your toes, but if you are like me at the moment and you feel rounded in your spine, you're not sitting up tall while holding on to your feet, then you might want to change your grip, meaning place your hands on your ankles or shins so you can sit up nice and tall initially. Now, we'll inhale and just feel the torso rise upward. Exhale, draw belly in for support as we now move. Hinging from hips a little bit, sending the heart and chin forward. Again, just a little bit, not very far at all. At this point, I can actually reach my toes. We'll inhale, keep that extended spine at this new angle. Exhale, draw belly in, and if there's a little bit more space to move into, hinge a tiny bit forward. Now that's about as far as you really need to go. We won't need to go too deeply. You just want to get to a place where you have sensation in the inner legs. And it doesn't have to be too major. Actually, the lighter the better in some cases. In this case, it allows us to sit here a little bit longer without straining the body, but allows for a nice natural, easy lengthening and releasing in the inner legs. This is kind of the start of our leg extension work we'll be getting to a little bit later. Again, you don't have to fold very far. If you want to go a little bit deeper, feel free to lower your chin, let your back round, and you can go a little bit further. What it really does is add a little bit more sensation to your back if your back needs a little bit of a stretch. Let's hold here for about 3 more breaths. So this is Cobbler's pose or bound angle pose. And we've created a fold to go along with it to create a little bit more sensation in the inner legs. Now if your back is rounded, let's go ahead and lift the chin a little bit to re-extend the spine. We're going to rise back up. You can even press your hands into the floor to help lift yourself up, just a little bit of an assist, until we're tall, and hold here for a moment. If you are using those books or blocks as support, you can move those to the side and just make your way carefully to your hands and knees. Here's where you might want to use your blanket or a towel for some support for your hands and knees for our next movement. So here in this little tabletop position, we'll get set for our cat and cow postures which flow together. First, we'll inhale, lift the head and heart, a little arching of the back, tips the pelvis back so it creates a back bend feel. We'll exhale, tuck the pelvis underneath, pull your belly button up towards your spine. Feel the natural curvature of the spine in chin to chest. This is cat pose. Reverse it. Feel the pelvis tip back. Belly will drop. There's our back bend. Open the heart, and you might gaze forward. That's cow. Now I'm going pretty slowly, but go at your own pace with this. Again, the inhale is the cow pose, which is the back bend when you're looking forward like this. And the exhale is cat pose when the back rounds. Don't forget to pull belly button up towards spine. It's a bit of an engagement feeling. And just continue this gentle flow, rocking of the pelvis, the undulation of the spine, which I really like in this flow. Now go ahead and finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more. Again, just taking your time. When you're complete, just come to a neutral tabletop position. Hold here for a moment. Make sure your neck is nice and long. Your gaze will be directly down at the mat. You can see right between your thumbs. Now, if you are using some padding, let's go ahead and crawl off the pad, and we'll set that to the side. And then come back to hands and knees as we prep for downward facing dog. Now, if your hands are directly underneath your shoulders, let's step the hands forward here. Spread out your fingers as you do so. Doing that will create a nice strong base, nice wide base, spreading out the fingers. It also stretches in between each finger. And then lean or press into the mat with the palms to stretch open the palms. Just think, your palms, your hands can get bound up and tight as well. So this is a nice way to open them up. As we press firmly into the ground, arms are straight and strong. Feel that energy. Once you have that, tuck your toes under. We'll do another cat-cow flow, starting with our cow. That's the inhale, that's the back bend. Exhale, round it all out into cat pose. Hold cat pose. Feeling the belly button pull up towards spine. Lift the knees into the air, lifting the hips up into the air. You might need to step the feet forward a little bit, at least I do. To help adjust, I like to take my hands a bit wider on the mat to help settle into the pose. Be sure your arms are straight and strong. Put a little bit more bend in your knees. And as you're able, lift your hips up into the air. Creates more length through the whole torso. Now that we've been here for a bit, we're going to walk the feet forward just until you're at the center of your mat, where your feet are flat on the ground.
Toes pointing forward, and just slide your fingertips towards your toes. You'll be in a forward fold. Now inhale and slide your hands up the legs until your back is flat and parallel to the floor like you're at a table. Let's hold that. You can keep a good bend in the knees here. No need to straighten the legs out just yet. You may even feel some activation in the hamstrings, and that's good. As you feel the hips and even tailbone reach towards the back of the room, your crown or the very top of your head is pointing and reaching towards the front of the room. So your gaze is still directly down at the floor. Get ready to stand up all the way. First, shift your weight into your heels. Bend your knees like you're going to sit down into a low chair, lifting your heart. Spread your wings or take your arms out to the side. Stand up tall, straighten the legs. As you inhale, reach both arms straight up into the air, and exhale, bring your arms down to your side. We've made it to our first standing position. This is mountain pose. Feel free to give a little shake or a big circle with the shoulders here. Roll them backward a few times, maybe forward, check in with your neck. Gently stretch. I like to go ear to shoulder a couple times. Then I like to nod, look down and up and then side to side. Look to the left and look to the right. Just a gentle stretch, nothing too major. And I like to circle the wrists here since there's a lot of work where we're on our hands. I like to circle the wrists both directions and wiggle the fingers, just so that this portion, the wrist area, stays limber and strong. All right, ready for our half salute to the sun where we fold forward and come back up, taking our time. So we start in mountain pose, shoulders rolled back, arms relaxed. Let's go. Inhale, take both arms up into the air, reach towards the ceiling. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, and sit back into an imaginary chair. Start to slowly fold, coming down. Your hands will drop, your head will drop, your back will naturally round. You might touch your toes, but you don't have to touch your toes here. Inhale, slide your hands up the legs to your knees or your thighs or just your shins to extend your spine. So we're here at that flat back tabletop position, as we did earlier. Hold for a moment, a couple breaths. Feel the energy in the legs because they're activated to help you stay in this posture. Shift your weight into your heels, bend your knees, tip your heart up, spread your wings, and stand up tall, reaching high into the sky. Nice stretch there at the top. Exhale, arms return to your side. And if you like, shake all this out. Nice. All right, we like to do a variation of Warrior One, which is a lunge, but we take a shorter stance. Just get things prepped for a full Warrior One and Warrior Two sequence. So again, starting in mountain pose, put a little softness in the knees. Let's start shifting weight into the right foot. Plug that foot into the ground, feel it energize. Feel very tall up top, gaze forward. Inhale to fill up the lungs. Exhale, draw belly in. Now we're ready. We're just going to kind of pick up this left heel and just tap the left foot back until it just stops. Okay? Until the leg just stops. Okay? Flexed toes, heel lifted. Now the weight is still forward, but what we'll do is turn that back leg, plant the foot firmly into the mat, and shift your whole body back until you're balanced on 2 feet like here. Now place your hands on your hips. You're going to push your pelvis downward. At the same time, feel the torso lifting. We're making space in the pelvis. Remember when I had you lift your arms up into the air, you want to feel like your torso's lifting. This is a similar sensation. Feel the torso lift, making space in the waistline so you can face forward. Inhale, now we'll take those arms straight up, a good lifting of the torso, and then bend elbows to about 90 degrees. So this is our variation of Warrior One. It's a nice lunge variation, getting us ready for the next variation. Now we'll inhale, shoot the arms straight up. Exhale, bring the arms down. Place hands on hips. We're going to lean forward, just put pressure into that front foot. So we can pick up that back foot, step it forward, right there. Inhale, let's take both arms up into the air. It's a nice way to realign the body. Exhale, arms return to your side. Feel free to shake this out if you'd like, finishing that whole side, and then we'll do the other side. Softness in the knees, shifting weight into left foot, press into the ground, feel tall and lifted, gaze forward. Inhale. With the exhale, we draw belly in, and we start tapping the right foot back until it just stops. Again, doesn't have to go back too far. Heel lifted, toes flexed. Pivot or turn that back leg to plant the heel, shift the whole body back to center. Hands on hips, pushing pelvis downward as the torso grows long, so you can turn to face forward. Inhale, take both arms up into the sky. And the exhale, bend elbows. Variation of Warrior One. We hold here for several breaths just so the body gets used to this. We don't hold it too long. Again, just an introduction to the full posture. Inhale, take the arms straight up. Exhale, bring the arms down. Bring hands to hips. We'll lean forward, put weight into the left foot. We'll pick up that back foot, step the feet together. Standing up tall, once again, floating both arms up into the air, extended mountain pose. Then exhale, arms to your side, mountain pose. And shake all that loose. All right, let's go through a full sun salutation. We like to break it down. And that'll, of course, bring us to our second variation of Warrior One. Whenever you're ready, join me here. Inhale, float the arms up. Big stretch through the sides of your body. Exhale, spread your wings. Sit back into that imaginary chair by bending your knees. Your back will be flat initially, but then it will naturally round as the hands come down and your head drops. Again, you don't have to touch your toes. Inhale, slide your hands up the legs to create that long, flat back. There's our tabletop. Now, bend your knees a whole lot. Slide down the legs, round the spine until your hands meet the floor. And then walk or step both feet back. Take your time until you're at the back end of the mat with the feet. And then just draw a line, straight line like this. And initially your shoulders will be over your wrists like this, plank pose. Breathe in. Exhale, bend your knees a little. Send your hips up into the air. Again, you might need to tiptoe forward a little bit just to situate the body so you feel secure in your pose. What we've created is an inverted V shape with the body. Here comes our second variation of Warrior One. Inhale and pick up the right foot and extend the right leg back behind you. It doesn't have to lift high. Just see if you can straighten it out. As you exhale, bend that right knee. Bring that right knee in underneath you towards your chin, shifting your whole upper body. Shoulders, again, will be aligned over the wrists. And just set that right foot down. It doesn't matter where it lands. Next, you'll set your left knee onto the floor. Shift the weight of the body back so you can pick up the right hand, reach back and go get your right foot. Literally pick it up and place it up higher on the mat. What we're doing is creating more distance between the feet initially. We're going to relift that left knee. See, now you can see all that distance between the feet. We're going to pivot or turn that left heel to the floor behind you. Walk your hands back kind of towards the center of the mat. That should shift weight into that back foot. That's what we want. Then I like to rise up to fingertips to lift the torso so I can extend it, lengthen, as if I'm about to like run forward. With that alignment, I'm going to hinge from hips rising up, reaching straight up into the air. Exhale, hold. So this is our second variation of Warrior One. This time the arms are straight up and down. There's more distance between the legs and feet. I can feel this a little bit more, especially in this left hip flexor. Breathe in. And exhale, turn your torso towards the left side of the room as your arms come down to parallel. This is Warrior Two. The right knee is bent, but be sure the right knee is pointing directly forward. And your toes are doing the same. It's a nice opening for the inner right leg. Let's hold here for a couple breaths. We're going to change this in a moment. Since we're doing leg extensions, we want to straighten out and stretch out the legs. So from Warrior Two, you're going to straighten the right leg right there because we're getting ready for triangle pose. Now, since we have distance between the feet, you can actually shorten the distance if you'd like for triangle pose. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to shorten the distance. I'm just bringing my left foot in a little bit, less distance. Nice tall upper body, straight legs, straight arms, and then reach out over that right leg, rotate the arms. So my right hand is actually landing right at the knee while the left hand's reaching up into the air. This is triangle pose. All right, so the legs are straight, and depending how deep you are in this posture, some lengthening sensation in the right hamstring. And of course, for soft flow, we don't like to go too far or too deep. we like to be able to hold this. So just in case this left shoulder gets a little tired, feel free to bring it down. We can still be at an angle right here and still work this lengthening process. Alrighty? Something I like to do also is actually I like to support my hips in this position. So I have hands on my hips. I feel a little bit more supported here. And I can go a little bit deeper. Alrighty. So some nice lengthening. It's not strenuous. I feel like I could hold this even longer. But here's what we'll do. We're going to bend this right knee, a nice lunge. I'm going to re-extend my arms but come back up to a warrior two right there. We're going to windmill this back hand, this left hand. I'm going to take it up and around, face forward, fold, bring the hands to the floor here. Rise up onto tiptoes behind. This ends up in a runner's lunge. Press the palms flat into the ground, strong straight arms. So I can slide or pull this right foot back until I'm in plank pose. I'm just doing some realigning of the body, and here's plank. Getting ready for downward facing dog. Bend the knees, send the hips into the air, and make adjustments with the feet and hands. So that's our sequence. We'll do the other side. When you're ready, inhale, pick up the left foot and extend the left leg back. Not concerned about the height, just straighten it and lengthen it. That's one of the leg extensions we're doing. With the exhale, bend the left knee, bring it in underneath you, shift your whole body forward, shoulders aligned over the wrists, set the left foot down. And set the right knee down. This is done just in case you're unable to get that left foot all the way to the top of the mat. This is a nice little shortcut to help us. It's an assist, a self-assist. Relift the right knee, pivot right heel to the floor, put weight into that foot. I'm just walking the hands back or towards center of the mat so I have balance between both feet. I'm rising to fingertips to extend the spine as if I'm about to run forward. Rooting or pressing into the floor with this left foot. Strong left leg. I can hinge from hips with an inhale. Rising up, picking both arms up into the sky. Hold on the exhale. Warrior one. Remember, as you reach into the air, feel the torso lift. It's lifting up out of the pelvis. We'll breathe in. Exhale, turn your torso now towards the right side of the room. Arms come down to parallel. Let's just arrive here, be here for a few breaths, and check in with alignment. Left knee and toes pointing forward, just to ensure a nice opening through the left inner thigh. Let's get ready for triangle. Let's straighten the left leg. Again, you can shorten the distance between the feet, which I'm going to do right there. I'm going to feel very tall and supported. Arms re-extend. Reach out over this left leg so it does angle the upper half of the body. Just a bit is fine. Rotate the arms. Again, my left hand is just above the knee. I'm going to hold here for several breaths, but I know my right arm and shoulder is going to get a little tired, so I'm going to bring it down. But I'm going to start here. Taking a few breaths, feeling that lengthening process. Again, it's not strenuous. It doesn't feel like I'm forcing that stretch at all. Okay, I'm going to bring this right arm down. I like to support my hips by placing hands on my hips. And by doing so, the support I'm adding here is feeling like I'm pushing my pelvis down. Okay? Like, oh, just away from my torso while I'm lengthening the torso. And then I feel quite supported here. A few more breaths as I experience the lengthening through the left hamstring. So this is one of our extended exercises. Now don't forget, we're going to be doing some balancing too. All right, coming out of the pose, I'm bending the left knee really for leverage. As we come back up, re-extend the arms, a return to warrior two. Here comes our windmill, so this back hand is going to come up and around to face forward. Fold carefully, hands to the mat, rise up onto tiptoes. There's our runner's lunge. Plant the hands into the floor, strong press, pull or slide that left foot back. Plank, we like to hold here for strength for a few seconds. And then we'll bring knees to the floor. Sit back briefly in hero. This is hero just to get off the hands. Sit off to the side. Swing the legs around to the front. Now, sit in the center of your mat. Let's grab a couple of props. First, we want our blocks because we're going to be doing our bridge pose, but make sure your strap is nearby as well. When you're ready, go ahead and lie down. You want to be able to grab your blocks easily. Once you lie down, go ahead and hug both knees into chest. Feel free to add some movement here. I like to create some circles and kind of figure eights just to get into the low back and hips. And I also like to circle the feet, get into the ankles, since we'll be doing some balancing, which really targets the feet and ankles. Just get a little movement going on there. All right, whenever you're ready, we'll plant the feet into the ground, knees bent. Make sure you can grab your blocks easily. Inhale, fill up your lungs. Exhale, engage the belly. Lifting hips into the air, high enough so you can slide your books or blocks underneath you, and then you'll sit right there. Make any adjustments with your feet, even your upper body, so you feel comfortable. And so you can hold this. We'll take several breaths here, just allowing the whole front body to open up. Deep breaths. So with the blocks or books that you're sitting on, it softens the pose, because the pose generally is pretty engaging because you have to hold yourself up. But by sitting on the props, there's a little bit of a resting component. Again, allowing you to hold the posture perhaps a little bit longer than usual. Let's take 3 more breaths. Wonderful. Just press the feet into the ground so you can easily lift the hips. Let's move those blocks out of the way. Slowly make your way back down to the earth. Once you've made that connection, extend the legs out front and reach your arms behind you. Nice lengthening through the entire body, stretching in these opposite directions. And because we're doing so, we're creating space in the low back and hips, elongating through the spine. And we're going to come up to seated. What you may want to do here, you can hug the knees in towards yourself and rock your way straight up to seated, or follow me and roll to one side. Press your hands into the floor to lift yourself up to seated, like so. I'm scooting back a little bit so I can extend the legs out front. This is where we're going to have our strap. So have your strap nearby. We're going to start a forward fold, which will get into the hamstrings, more leg extension. But let's get the upper body involved here too. Staff pose. So first, straight legs, flexed feet, hands on the floor by your hips. Push into the floor to assist your torso so it's nice and long and lifted. Roll the shoulders back. Your gaze is forward, so your neck is neutral. Couple breaths here. This is staff pose. Feel the energy in the body, and then go ahead and soften. Let's get ready for our fold. So use your strap or rope or belt, whatever you've got here. Wrap it around the soles of the feet. I like to kind of wrap the strap around my hands here so I have a good hold. Now, for the first part, you might straighten the legs or keep the legs straight as you're able. As you get a little deeper into the pose, feel free to bend the knees. First, we'll inhale, kind of pull on the strap to help you sit up nice and tall. Exhale, pull belly in, and another tug of the strap to send your heart forward towards your toes. Not very far, perhaps just to a place where you start to feel something in your hamstrings. Now, I'm already feeling it. So it doesn't look like I went too far, but it's far enough, especially with the legs absolutely straight, okay, and the spine absolutely straight. I feel this. Now, like I said, what you can do is soften the knees a little bit. You can even let the back round a little bit. That creates a little bit more space so you can go a little deeper if you wanted to fold a little bit more. All right, it does change the sensation in the hamstrings. Remember not to forcefully pull yourself into the pose. Just getting to that place where you feel, and it feels okay. I can hold this. Just tell yourself or ask yourself, can I hold this for a good period of time without getting too tired or stressing out the body? Okay, if the answer is yes, then you're in a good spot. Let's take several more breaths, just really allowing the lengthening to occur here. About 3 more. And after your third breath, you might just rise back up until you're nice and tall. We're done with the strap for a moment. So kind of release. Just have the strap to the side. And feel free to kind of shake out the feet and legs, even your arms and hands. All right, now we will be using that strap again because we have our balancing work to add to all of this. We've done some hamstring extension work. Let's get into some balancing work. All right, let's come back to cobbler's pose first. Bend the knees, so getting that stretch out of the hamstrings, bring the soles of the feet together. We'll just sit up tall for a moment. That's all. You can fold if you want. We're just holding here for a few seconds. A couple breaths. All right. Carefully manipulate yourself to come to your hands and knees. Just like this, let's step the hands forward. Same thing as before. Spread out your fingers. Press your palms into the mat. Strong, straight arms. Tuck your toes. Let's do another cat and cow. Inhale, lift head and heart. Exhale, round it out. Hold cat pose, engaging the belly, lifting the knees, lifting your hips. Tiny tiptoe forward, downward facing dog. Remember to keep a good bend in the knees, but your arms are straight. Walk your feet towards the center of your mat until your feet are flat on the ground. Slide hands to toes, forward fold. Hold for a few more seconds. This should be a nice lengthening. Then inhale, slide your hands up the shins or to the knees. Hold halfway up, right there. Engaged hamstrings. Now we're standing. Weight shift into the heels, bend the knees, spread your wings. That just helps to lengthen the spine so you don't involve, those back muscles. You don't strain the back as you stand up all the way. Reach your arms up into the sky and exhale, arms return to your side. All right, go ahead and shake that out. All right, now we're going to do 2 sets of balancing here. All righty, so I'm going to bring in my chair. If you have a chair, table, wall, just go ahead and stand next to it. So I'm going to bring in my chair. I'm also going to fold my mat like this so I can bring in my chair in a little closer. Something like this, okay? So I'll try to mirror you. Okay, so my left side is against the wall. I'm mirroring you. So left side against the wall, which means we're going to be standing on the left foot. So first, just standing nice and tall. I'm just adjusting my mat a little bit. Nice and tall, feet grounded, rooted. You feel balanced on 2 feet. So you have your wall or table or chair next to you to help you balance. Soften the knees a little bit. We're shifting weight over into that left foot. Press. Inhale, get nice and tall. Inhale, fill up the lungs. Exhale, pull belly in. We're going to peel or lift the right foot up. Maybe the thigh comes to parallel. Then use that hand, catch just below the knee at the shin, and maybe just gradually lift. And that's it. But we're going to see if we can take that leg out to the side, just opening it up. And my knee is just pointing out at a corner or at an angle. You don't have to take it all the way to the side. At an angle is just fine. Now just check in with the rest of the body. Now we're balancing. We just have our left hand on the wall or table. That left foot on the floor, keep rooting or pressing into the floor so you feel that energized, strong leg, and get as tall as you can up top. And make sure you're not leaning back or to the side. You want to feel as if there was a wall behind you, but you're flush against the wall. All right, so what is our hip opener? Holding this leg up, some balancing. Now we are going to be extending this leg, but we're going to be doing it with a strap. Okay, but first let's bring that knee forward. Let's replant that foot, balanced on 2 feet. Here's an opportunity to kind of shake everything out. That's a lot of work for the standing leg. That's a lot of work for that lifted leg. Alrighty, so shake things out. Now all I'm going to do is just turn around so we can do the other side. Okay. Alrighty, so right hand and right foot, okay, against the wall. Soft knees. Shifting weight into the right foot, press. Strong, energized standing leg. Inhale, get nice and tall, lengthen spine. Exhale, draw belly in. We're going to peel that left foot up off the floor, flexing the foot. The thigh is parallel to the floor. I'm just going to catch underneath the shin, just holding that leg up. And I'm just going to take that knee out at an angle, maybe to the side of the room, but an angle is just fine. Okay? And then we'll check in with the rest of the body. We'll start with the ground. The right foot, push strongly into the floor, feeling strength and energy in that right leg that we're standing on. The right hand is against the wall or table or chair for support. Be sure you feel tall and lifted up top, lengthened spine. This is our balancing work. Soon we'll add the extension. One more breath. That's a lot of work. We're going to swing that knee forward, left knee forward, plant the foot back down into the floor, and again, shake it all out. Really, literally shake it out if you need to, all the way down to the knees, ankles, and toes. Even check in with your shoulders. Alrighty? Then we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to use the strap so we can extend the leg. Now this is just in case, let me just show you this. This is just in case you can't hold onto your big toe and extend the leg. Now this is done in some other classes. Now we don't have to do this in soft flow. We're going to use the strap instead. Alright, so get ready. We'll grab that strap. Again, I'll continue to mirror you. Hopefully I'm mirroring you. So I'm going to wrap the strap around the right foot. Standing nice and tall. Return to that mountain pose. You want to feel balanced on 2 feet. We're going to shift your weight into the left foot, left hand on your support right here. Rooting down. Feel tall, lengthen through the spine. That's an inhale. Exhale, pull belly in. Okay, here's our support. I'm just lifting that right foot. Same thing as we did earlier. Okay, I'm just using the strap here. Let's try one thing first. Okay, let me just get a better grip of my strap. We're going to extend the leg forward. Okay, I'm going to turn sideways so you can see this. So you don't have to lift the leg all the way. Okay, it doesn't have to be at parallel. Just extend the leg. Just like that. At an angle is just fine, just as long as it's straight. All right, and you're kind of pushing through the heel of the foot. Use the wall or table for balance. Feel tall up top. We're not done yet. We're going to bend that knee again. We're taking the leg out to the corner, and then we're going to extend the leg. Same thing. Doesn't have to lift high. Just push through the heel to extend the leg. Use that strap. See, I'm leaning. Okay, I'm going to try to get nice and tall and even. There we go. This is a lot of work just to stay even in the body. I think the standing leg, the leg you're standing on, is probably getting the most work, more so than that extended leg. Let's bend that knee again, swing that knee forward, plant the foot into the ground, and that's it. That's our balancing leg extension work. Shake it all out. We're going to remove the strap. I'm going to spin around. We're going to do the other side. So same thing. So we're going to be standing on the right foot. Strap going underneath the left foot. Start in mountain pose, soft knees, balanced on 2 feet. Use your support. And putting weight into the right foot. Inhale, pushing into the ground with that strong foot and leg, energizing the leg, getting tall up top. Exhale, pull belly in. And like I'm a marionette puppet, I'm lifting the other foot using the strap. Extend the leg forward. Let me just turn to sideways so you can see this, okay? Nice and tall as can be, but the extended leg does not need to be parallel. If there's a slight bend in the knee, that's fine too. All right, continue. Let's bend that knee that's in the air. Swing that knee out to the corner. Extend that left leg. Use the strap. Be aware if you're leaning. See how I'm leaning? I'm going to try to get nice and tall here. Even if that leg over here that's in the air, my left leg, if it's lower, that's fine. Root the right foot strongly into the ground. Nice and tall up top. This is a lot of work. Let's bend that knee again. Swing the knee forward. Plant the foot down. Whew. Step out of the strap. Shake it out, walk it out. That's our work today. Okay, we're done with the strap. I'm going to move my chair out of the way and unfold my mat. How'd you do?
All right, continue to shake things out if you need to. Check in with those toes, your ankles, knees, even your hips, because that's a lot of work right through here. That's why I said for this balancing a leg extension, you'll be working your hips. You probably felt that in your hips. All right, let's come back to mountain pose. We're going to make our way down to the earth to come to the final portions of our practice. So find mountain pose, relax shoulders, take a breath. Here we go. Inhale, let's take the arms up into the air. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, sit back into the imaginary chair. Take your time. Notice when the back transitions from a flat back to a rounded back. Bend your knees, maybe touch your toes. Inhale, slide your hands up to the shins, extend the spine. Exhale, fold, just slide down the legs, bend your knees more until you can reach the floor with your hands. And then walk both feet back, take as many steps as you need to until you're in plank pose. Strong straight line, nice upper body strength work. See if you can hold this a couple seconds longer. Let's bring the knees to the floor. Sit back briefly in hero just to get off the hands, and we're going to take another seat. Now we are going back to bridge pose. In my power classes, I call this next thing a dynamic bridge. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to do this supported bridge with the blocks, but the dynamic is we're going to extend the leg. Okay? All right, so have your blocks nearby. Roll down onto your back. Hug the knees in. Same thing, just a little massage, just some light movement to help relieve any tension in your back, in your hips. Check in with your ankles again. Remember, all that balancing. We have to really rely on the strength of the entire leg, but our feet and ankles get a lot of the work. All right, let's plant the feet. Here we go. Knees are bent, feet on the floor. Breathe in. Make sure you got your blocks. Exhale, engaging. Lifting the hips, again, just high enough to slide your books or blocks underneath you. Get them in the right spot so you feel comfortable. And then settle in, relax. We'll hold here for a couple breaths. Nice, deep, expansive breaths to open up through the heart. We're going to do another leg extension, and this is the dynamic part of it. Alrighty, we'll stay seated on the blocks, but we're going to extend a leg. Now what I like to do, and you might kind of play with this idea, what I'm going to do is kind of wiggle my left foot in, so it's a little bit more center, and then extend the right leg up into the air. Now, I would certainly give that cue if we were not using the blocks, because what we're creating is something like a three-legged table. So we need to get that third leg, okay, on the floor in a right position. The other two legs are the shoulders on the floor. But since we're sitting on the blocks, we have extra stability, and we're extending the right leg into the air. Mine happens to be pretty straight and straight up. Don't worry if there's a bend in the knee or if the leg is slightly forward. Just as long as it's up, you're doing the work. And it's actively working. Extending the leg, this is working in the hips. It works in the lower core region as well. Let's bend the knee, plant the foot into the ground. We'll hold here, let it relax for a moment before we add the dynamic on the other side. Again, since we're sitting on the blocks, we have a little extra stability. But if you need to, you can kind of bring that right foot towards center. You may not need to. And then with an exhale, let's extend the left leg up into the sky. I know for me, my left leg isn't as flexible as my right leg. I'm trying to get it there. It's taking a while, taking a long time actually, but it's doing okay. But I can, for the most part, extend the leg, but I know it feels a little bit more natural and more comfortable if I put a little bend in the knee. That way I don't feel like I'm, straining the leg. So listen to what the body is telling you, because it might be different from one side to the other, and make those adjustments. You don't have to force one side just because it's maybe not as flexible as the other side. Because it'll get there. Just be patient, take your time. 2 more breaths. I can already feel a little bit of shaking in the leg.
Okay, that's kind of a good sign, but we're not going to get too stressed out. All right, let's go ahead and bend the knee and plant the foot. Let's hold here for a couple more breaths in our supported bridge pose. Pressing feet into the ground, lifting the hips so I can move the blocks. Come back down. Let's straighten the legs out front, reach the arms behind you. Again, just realigning, lengthening, a little stretch and space creation. Let's get into the hips a little bit. Let's hug just the right knee into chest, just the right knee. Alrighty. Now this is a version of half happy baby pose. So we're only going to be working one leg at a time. And rather than going into the full half happy baby pose, I'm just taking the right leg out to the side. Rather than kicking that foot up into the air, I just took the leg out to the side to open up through the inner right leg. So I'm basically resting this right knee and leg in my right hand. It opens the hip nicely. It's not pulling or stressing it out. Now for the full half happy baby pose, you can take that foot up into the air, but for soft flow, you can take this version. It's a little softer, a little easier, not as strenuous. And again, you can probably hold it a little bit longer. 3 more breaths. So half happy baby pose variation. Okay, we'll bring the right knee to center. We'll extend the leg out front. You feel free to take the arms behind you again. More lengthening, more space. We'll do the other side. Hug the left knee in. Half happy baby pose variation. Taking the leg out to the side. It's just resting heavily in my left hand. So the left elbow's on the floor, just creating a little prop. Alrighty. So my leg can just rest in my left hand, and I can modify that or adjust that just to get a little bit more stretch and release in the inner left leg. Three more breaths. Then we'll return it to center. Again, extending the legs. Extend the arms if you'd like. Hug both knees into chest. Let's go for a twist. Let's take both knees over to the left side of the room while your right arm extends to the right side of the room. We're going to add a little piece here. It's really optional. So both knees are bent. Both knees are pointing to the left side of the room. Now I might kind of kick off screen here, but I'm extending the right leg. I'm just pushing through that right heel. Maybe just for a few seconds. It's a different sensation. It adds a little bit more sensation to my low back and right hip, but I'm also just kind of playing with a little added extension here. I'm going to bend the knee again. So that's an option if you want to try that. See if the body can settle and somewhat relax into the pose. Now there's a bit of a dynamic in this position. Now there's some parts of the body which can easily relax, but there's certainly parts of the body that are engaged to help you hold the position. So kind of notice if you can separate out what parts are engaged and what parts are relaxed. And then just take 3 more breaths. Whenever you're complete, take your time. Back up to center. You might hold here for a moment. You can always extend the legs out on the floor. Just hug the knees in, and then we'll do the other side. So knees to the right, while your left arm extends to the left side of the room. Stay just like this for the duration. If you want to add that little extra extension, you can kick out that left leg, pushing through the heel. Notice how that changes the sensation a little bit in the left hip and the low back, energizing that leg for a moment, but but you can always return to the bent knee. See if you can settle, noticing what parts of the body are relaxed in this rotation, what parts are active. Let's take 3 more breaths. When you're complete with that rotation, let's come back up to center. Hug both knees in, hold for realignment, and this brings us to the very end of our practice. Go ahead and extend the legs out in front. You can do one more stretch with the arms behind you. What I like to do sometimes is inhale and lengthen with some engagement in the whole body, lengthening. And with the exhale, relax completely, bringing the arms down to the side. Feel the feet and legs and hips relax. The back and your shoulders will follow. Settle into some deep breathing. Close your eyes if you'd like, or just gaze upward. Now feel free to use any props that you like to help support the body in your Shavasana. This is what I call your Shavasana practice. Finding stillness. It's a time for meditation. Settle into your breathing. As you're able, come to complete stillness. As best as you can, we're trying to find complete release, disengagement. In those spinal rotations, it was a combination of engagement and relaxation, while in Shavasana, hopefully, it's a majority relaxation. And as always, you can stay here as long as you'd like. No need to move right away. Even as I end the practice, you can stay right where you are. Continue to relax and meditate. This is the true yoga practice. We go through all the movements and postures and flowing to release any tension in the body. Let go of any obstacles that might be holding us back, so we clear a path for meditation, a clear vision toward our personal intentions. When it is time to move, start with breath. Take 5 slow, steady breaths. These breaths work to bring new energy to the body and to bring movement back into the body. After your 5th breath, move as slowly as you can. You roll onto one side of your body. Here I'm bending my knees, shifting my hips so I can roll to one side, and just pausing here for a moment in this nurturing position. With another new breath, pressing hands into the mat, lifting my whole upper body. Bring in my blanket to sit on, and really just returning to the space where we began our practice together. Sitting up nice and tall, maybe crossing your legs, lengthened spine, shoulders relaxed, arms down by your side. Hands can rest in your lap or bring hands to heart center.
While you're here, take one more full breath in and out. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow saying, Namaste. Thank you so much for watching and participating in this yoga lesson. To help us with the channel so we can continue to bring you more content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. Namaste.